that team that the Mets had out on the field last night, that's the $350 million team. That's everybody who's supposed to be playing where they're playing. They are 100% healthy. There are no excuses. They are flat. I give Verlander a lot of credit. Look, he's 40 years old. He'll stand up. He'll talk to anybody. He'll give you his feelings about the game and how unfortunate it was for him to not pitch well in his third start and things of that nature. But that's the team, and that's a team that looks lifeless. And this team hasn't been the characteristic of this team with Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Francisco Lindor, Brandon Nimmo. Those guys are not lifeless. Mark Canha, Starling Marte. I mean, these guys are supposed to be some of the best baseball players in the league at their respective positions, and they're supposed to be bringing an attitude to a game, and they're not bringing it. And, I don't know. I listened to Buck after the game, and I'm a huge Buck Showalter fan. He's never going to overreact one way or the other. He's always going to be kind of like that medium tone manager that after the game is talking about different things. And, of course, he's going to talk about, how bad Verlander was last night or how happy he was that Eske got a home run last night late in the game. But, my God, something has got to give. I mean, because it is as flat could be, and that's not who these personalities are in this team. That's the weird thing. It's almost like everybody else is waiting for somebody else to do something. And I know that they have starting pitching problems. That has been chronicled. We've talked about that a million times. But offensively, when they need to react, they can't react. And when they finally do react, and especially last night late in the game, it's too little too late. And they look like they're defeated. They look like they've lost their confidence. And I'm like, wait a minute, time out. This is a $350 million team.
Yeah, and you're right.
And you can't you can't look like this.
And that's what's scary about it is I know that they know that this is a bad start. I know that they know that this is unacceptable. I mean, Brandon Nimmo and others said how Steve Cohen made this investment and they want to make sure that they go out there and they prove it to him. Now, I don't know the reason why. I mean, I've been trying to figure it out. Is it because you had a ton of these guys in the World Baseball Classic? Is it because last year you had 101 wins and you didn't make anything of it and you come back seemingly 2 months later and you have this long slog of a regular season again? They're just not into it because of what happened last year. Is it because they're waiting because there's so many high-paid players on this team and somebody is waiting for somebody else to do something? What is it? Is Buck Showalter in his second year following some of the patterns that he has in his career, and is his voice falling flat? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Buck can't figure it out. The players can't figure it out. Steve Cohen can't figure it out, and the fan base is just infuriated and disappointed again.
Well, yeah, they're infuriated. They booed Verlander off the mound. So welcome to New York. I mean,
that's unacceptable last night.
Well, expectations are high. Everybody is basically, expecting a World Series, especially when you spend that kind of money. And I know losing Edwin Diaz is a huge loss to this team, but they can't even get to their freaking their closers or their better bullpen pitchers because all of a sudden their starting pitching is giving up, early runs in these games. And, he hung that curveball, and you knew that Paredes was my God, Jesus, he just ripped the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And I will say then in regards to the Yankees, there was a moment that happened 2 days ago, and for whatever reason, it has ignited the Yankees. Now I see the Yankees are as ignited as they have been all year long. Now they're in the middle. I think they've won 10 of their last 14. But Aaron Judge now all of a sudden, reacts to what we were talking about yesterday. And I don't want to go down that road again. It was a tip from the first baseman. We all know it. And there's nothing against, in the rule book against it. So he didn't cheat. We never said he did.
Right.
And we were saying that it was gamesmanship.
Yeah, but we know something was going on.
Right. Everything that we said yesterday basically came to fruition yesterday afternoon and last night. When Yes finally got to it, when Craig and Evan were talking about it yesterday, for us, we knew what it was. We knew that he was getting a tip from somewhere. I thought it was the first base coach because that's where he was standing, the first base coach. That had to be it. And then, of course, all the ex-players come out and they talk about it. First base coaches or third base coaches have some sort of information, and they bring that information to the dugout. Everybody's going to want it. And that's what part of their job is to do, is to look at things. And they're just not handling the guys on the base paths. They're watching the pitcher. They're watching the pitchers move to first base. They're watching how long it takes, for him to, unload the ball. Do you want to steal second base? All those different things that those coaches do. And then, of course, you have the yelling back and forth out of the dugouts, which I think is great for baseball, which is what they need more of. And this is an intense rivalry. Now, both coaches are probably screaming back and forth to each other, having a good laugh at it. But at the end of the day, for us as fans, it intensifies the game. And then, of course, Aaron Judge, what does he do? He's the best player in baseball. He hits a huge home run last night.
Yeah, I don't think that the managers and the coaches were having a laugh at this. I think that they were legitimately pissed off at one another. I think that John Schneider, with the coupling of what happened with Judge the night before, he comes out right away. He hands the lineup card in, which is something he doesn't normally do because he wants to talk to the umpires about keeping the base coaches in the boxes, because obviously he believes what we were talking about, how it was a tip from the first base coach of the pitcher tipping pitches, who, by the way, Jackson said he was interviewed about it and said that he thought that he was tipping pitches. He thought that the first base coach saw the grip on the ball, which is one of the possibilities we talked about yesterday, and that's what he got it from. So there was that. And then also you get Domingo Germán, who's out there with the sticky stuff. So, I actually think that Snyder's like, screw this. Like, screw you guys. And it's funny because he gets caught on camera yelling to somebody, John Schneider, that is, "Shut up, fat boy." It's clear as day. He says, "Shut up, fat boy," to somebody. Now,
who do we think he's yelling at?
Now, he was originally yelling at Luis Rojas, but Luis Rojas was to his left in the dugout. Then he turns, there goes, "Shut up, fat boy."
Fat boy. Shut up, fat boys. There's got to be somebody in the Yankee dugout that's chirping. Now, who's the fat guy in the dugout?
Yeah, well, it's funny because Michael Kay goes, "I think he's yelling at Boone," but there's no way he's going to call Boone fat boy. There's just that wouldn't be, especially John Schneider, who's a good 70 pounds.
Let's break it down. Who is it?
Who would be the fat boy?
Who is the fat boy, Al?
I thought he was referring to Rojas as a fat boy, even though I don't think he is.
No, he's not.
I don't think he wasn't looking at Rojas. He was yelling at Rojas, and then he turned the other way, and then he was looking across to the Yankee dugout.
Right.
And Rojas is no
Rojas is not a fat boy.
He's jacked, this guy.
Who's the guy standing right there with the guy behind Boone right there?
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell who that is. That guy looked a little fat. Little fat.
Who is the...
come on, who is that guy? Somebody come on. Tell me. Tweet me. Do something.
I don't know the guy standing by. You're not going to be
Say
able...
right there. He's not going to be that fat either, is it? Is that...
I can't tell. I really cannot tell with the score there. But yeah, somebody was fat boy to John Schneider, who is not exactly svelte himself. So I think these guys were pissed, man. They were pissed.
I know, but after the game, Aaron Boone is like, we're having a good time with it. I don't know.
What was he going to say?
I'll tell you one thing,
John Schneider.
The Yankees are not having a good time with Domingo Germán, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know what is with these guys, like Scherzer and Germán. So Scherzer gets checked, goes in, washes his hands, comes back out with something stickier, thinking he's not going to get checked again, I guess, or thinks he's above the law when it comes to this stuff, but is checked like 3 separate times before getting thrown out. So it's like you're pushing the limits there. And then you get Domingo Germán, who gets checked in a couple of starts ago by this same crew, and they let him go. They give him a warning about it. He comes back out in this start with stuff all over him.
Somebody has to say something because he had 3.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Yes.
With alcohol.
He was pitching a no-hitter.
Yeah, well...
I mean, come on.
But they're checking him no matter what.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, does John Schneider do the Rays Blue Jays say something?
If they get one of the balls, a foul ball or something, and they take a look at it and it's sticky or it's got, it was to me, it had to be pine tar.
Of course it was, because it looked like he had dutes on his hip. But so here David Cohn last night is talking about how when he would pitch, when he would go back on the mound, he would go over and grab the rosin in the on-deck circle because it would have some pine tar on it.
Okay.
So he was kind of talking about back when he was pitching.
That was a long time ago now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand. But we used to do other things like, so our football when we played, I've often told you this, was right brand spanking new out of the bag.
Yep.
And we had to play with this slick football, and I think Phil Simms and I both still have nightmares because of it. You know, we're just thinking, like, if we could have played with the balls that they played with today.
Sure.
You know, and, you know, it would just make it a whole lot different for us because every time we picked up one of these brand new footballs, be like, man, damn. So you'd try to spray some stuff on your hand if you could. Anything to grip the ball a little bit better. So I kind of understand where the pitchers are coming from.
Well, yes, and they have been pushing the limits and the spider tack and everything else, but since the rule change, these guys pushing the limits is just stupid, especially with Herman. Same crew, goes out there, his hand is covered. You could see his palm, dirty and covered. You could see his pants, dirty. What are you doing? I mean, is it that they're so addicted to what the sticky stuff does to the baseball that they can't help themselves?
100%.
Or are they just that stupid?
No, 100%.
I don't understand. Is Scherzer and Herman that stupid? Or are they just
they're trying to get an edge. That's the bottom line is they're trying to get an edge.
Man.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. It really is amazing that, you know, Herman went down this road again, knowing that he was going to be looked at. I don't know what to tell you. The other thing I can also tell you is that, man, I am so, for as long as I've been a basketball fan, I feel like the Spurs have basically won the big lottery, the big guy that was the can't miss guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was really the one time with Duncan.
Yeah, but they also had the Admiral.
Yeah, they did, but
and then they put them together.
No, I know,
and then
but
Pop all of a sudden became the greatest coach of all time. Kind of like Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
You got Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, you're a pretty good coach.
that is very true. But I mean, it's been a long
Shaq
time.
And Kobe, oh wow, I think you could coach Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, well, you saw with the Warriors too, by the way. I mean, when Luke Walton came in after Steve Kerr's back surgery and they won 19 straight games,
right,
or whatever that was. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since the Spurs have won the lottery, but they win the NBA lottery, and it's now Victor Wembanyama season.
Wembanyama
season.
Did you have you seen any of the highlights of this?
Of course. I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, this guy it's insane to watch. You figure it's going to translate. Someone at that size with that skill at that age is very, very rare. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
ESPN did do a pretty good documentary on him and where he's come from and, you know, and what it was all about. And believe it or not, his ball handling skills were taught to him at a very, very young age. And those skills were mirrored from one Pete Maravich.
Wow.
Pete Maravich. They were looking at ball handling skill drills that Pete Maravich put out. And here's a guy that now is 7'5", 220 pounds. And he's handling the ball after watching all of these Pete Maravich drills back in the day when he was growing up.
Think the Spurs would take Julius Randle for the number 1 overall pick? Think they'd make that trade? Emily is in the city. What's going on, Emily?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
We were just talking about the fat boy thing.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, John Boy is saying he's saying frat boy to Harrison Bader.
Oh, frat boy.
Frat boy.
To Harrison Bader.
That's very interesting. I did not see the John Boy breakdown yet. I'm going to check it out in the break. That would make a lot more sense because Bader does have that sort of frat boy thing going on.
Yeah. What is a frat boy thing? Tell me what that means.
It's
is that what we're trying to insult somebody? We're trying to insult somebody, a stereotype somebody?
No. I mean, I think
is that what we're doing?
It's someone who drinks Bud Light, I think.
No longer.
Yeah, okay. All right. Because
like you call somebody a frat boy, are you saying it because you legitimately think that that's, you know, a compliment, or do you think that that is an insult?
I was trying to.
I see frat boy.
Hold on, I'm looking again.
Fat. I see fat. I don't see fur. You see fur?
Now that fur was in my head, I'm seeing fur.
You think you see fur?
But prior to that, when I thought it was fat, I saw fat. Now that I'm seeing or hearing about fur, I'm now looking at fur.
You still didn't answer my question.
Oh yeah, sorry, I got locked in on watching that video again. No, I think it's sort of it would be an insult of you immature sort of knucklehead. That's what I would say. That if you're calling someone a frat boy, you know, sort of immature idiot.
Okay.
I guess. So
it's definitely 100%. He's not throwing around platitudes. He's throwing around insults.
He's not. No, he's not saying.
I mean that bothered me last night.
No, did it?
Yeah.
Now
I'm bothered by that.
I got to watch the John Boy thing because it would make more sense too because John Schneider is he could be the biggest of everybody out there when it comes to all the coaches and maybe bigger than anybody in the Yankees. So if he's going fat boy to somebody on the Yankees, it doesn't make any sense.
That's one thing that Victor Wembanyama is not.
Yeah, he is not. Sports Minute.
I got one.
Yeah, I figured as much because you pronounced his name perfectly. So that's why I know.
I did it yesterday too, but you didn't hear yesterday.
No, I did not hear.
Because I was talking about the NBA lottery, which we did not get to yesterday because we were stuck on Aaron Judge and whether or not he was getting a tip from the bench or the first base coach, and of course he got it from the first base coach. Why would we
spend any time on the NBA lottery yesterday?
I know it has nothing to do with us, but there's a transformative player. That's why.
Yeah, but who's not coming?
Everybody who has watched
the
this
Knicks
kid play,
or the Nets.
I know, but the thing about it is,
right?
This is going to be Caleb Williams next year, the quarterback out of USC. This kid they've never seen anything like it. And when you hear all the NBA players, describing his game and what he looks like when he's playing, you're talking about maybe the greatest prospect ever in NBA history. Is that possible? You see, you go.
I don't know, man.
There are guys saying that.
I know, but everybody's with the recency bias of everything else. I've seen a million of these guys coming.
You've seen a million.
Greg Oden was a can't miss guy.
He didn't play like this.
He was a can't miss guy.
This. No way.
No, I didn't play like that. But how many can't miss guys have there been?
Doesn't play like this.
We'll see.
What do you mean? We'll see. 7'4".
Zion Williamson. Can't miss.
He's always
never
hurt.
seen what he did.
He's always hurt.
Guy at his size. Yeah, but he wasn't always hurt in college. He was out there playing. Whatever. We'll see it. Prove it to me. If he brings the Spurs back to the playoffs and he's a perennial all-star, then great. Yeah, he looks great. But I'm just so sick of this. These guys who haven't done anything or kissing their ass already.
Well, all right, let's see. He's also French.
Exactly.
Which is another international basketball player going number 1 in the draft.
Why do the Knicks always take the bad French guys and never have a shot at the good French guys?
We've got Nita Likina and Frederick Weiss.
And Evan Fournier.
And Evan Fournier, too, yeah.
I mean, my goodness.
Thanks so much for watching the video.
Please like and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when we're dropping new content.